I'm Joseph Connors. I work at the British Columbia Cancer Agency in Vancouver, BC, and I'm on the faculty at the University of British Columbia.
Dr. Connors contributed to the Phase 3 Echelon-1 study on targeted therapy for patients with Hodgkin lymphoma.
In the last 10 or more years, we've seen a revolution in the ability to treat cancers with the development of what are called targeted agents. So these are medications, specially formulated medications that seek out specific cancer cells and attack the cancer cells directly while largely sparing the normal cells in a person's body. This is a worldwide effort, and the people contributing to it are putting pieces of the puzzle together. And so in our laboratory, we are focused in part on understanding the basic biology of these malignant cells. We share that information with investigators around the world, and others craft the specific agents and treatments that will take advantage of what insights we've gained. And then the circle comes back around. In my clinical work, we receive these new drugs and agents from pharmaceutical companies or biomedical companies and integrate them into treatment regimens and test their effectiveness. The Echelon-1 study was the final step in examining the potential usefulness of a new drug. It's the end of more than 10 years of work done around the world by hundreds of investigators involving thousands of patients. The drug is brentuximab vedotin, and it's a constructed drug which combines a monoclonal antibody, so that's a large chemical structure that can stick onto the surface characteristics of specific malignant cells. But bound to it is a chemical that, once inside the cell, disrupts its internal workings. So this antibody-drug conjugate that we're testing carries the antibody to the surface of the cell, latches on, the cell pulls it inside, dissolves away most of the material, revealing the presence of the toxin, the material that then makes that particular cell ill, onto the point of that cell dying. And when it does, it fragments into pieces, and those pieces are examined by a patient's immunologic system, and the body then develops its own way of attacking those malignant cells. And so this innovation of combining a toxin, which we want to be specifically delivered to the individual malignant cells and not elsewhere in the body because it is a toxin, we can get it there using the monoclonal antibody, which is entirely specific for a characteristic that's seen only on the malignant cells we're targeting and not shared by other cells in the body. The Echelon-1 study focused specifically on patients with Hodgkin lymphoma, choosing to treat patients that had the disease spread widely throughout their body, and by putting this new medication in combination with some of the standard chemotherapy drugs that we've been relying on for years, we've come up with a new combination, and that combination has turned out to be more effective than any of the ones we've tested previously. This same principle can be applied across cancers in general. Each time we pick a cancer, we then have to pick the special aspect of that cancer that's the targetable structure, the thing we can go after that's unique to the cancer cells and not shared by the normal cells. It's important to understand that all treatments for cancer do carry with them specific side effects. So the brentuximab vedotin does have some impact on the body's ability to make new blood cells, and so it's useful to pre-treat the patient with medication that encourages that person's body to make new white blood cells more rapidly, and that counteracts the negative effect of the brentuximab vedotin. In addition, after the malignant cell has died, tiny amounts of the toxin that killed the cell leaks away, and it can affect some bystander cells, and in particular can injure nerve cells. And so patients can develop a quite uncomfortable loss of sensation or abnormal sensation in their arms or legs. So in the course of delivering the brentuximab vedotin, clinicians like myself have had to learn how much can be delivered and how the treatment and the schedule and the dosing can be adjusted to minimize these undesirable side effects. I have the privilege on behalf of the dozens of investigators that were involved in the Echelon-1 trial to present the primary analysis, the initial hard look at whether we really did accomplish what we hoped. The evidence is strong and compelling, straightforward to understand, and the trial accomplished what it was supposed to do. It figured out whether adding this new medication to standard treatment actually amplifies and improves what the standard treatment can accomplish. And ultimately, we hope that this way of treating Hodgkin lymphoma gets into the hands of clinicians around the world. Each year that goes by, we get modestly better at a collection of different diseases that we can now treat more effectively and with less undesirable effect for patients, and gradually build an increasingly effective edifice of ways to treat people that help them a lot.